All right, so one thing to note is that WordPress websites actually do have an RSS feed built into them by default. And so one really quick experiment we can do is we can actually take one of my existing WordPress sites and just plug the database in to the RSS feed. Now the RSS feed only defaults to showing 10 posts at a time, but this will be a quick experiment to just see if we can very quickly get some fast results and get the information loaded into NLWeb without having to do any changes to our existing WordPress site. So first, I'm going to go ahead and drop all the information that's in the current database by running this command. Basically, it just makes the QDrop vector client, and then it runs via async, just basically a recreate collection method call, and it actually clears out all of the existing data that we have in our existing QDrop. Next step is to go back to the hello world. Let's look at the instruction to load the RSS feed into our QDrop database. In this case, my website is fieldrocket.us, and then the RSS feed is /feed, and the site name is going to call this fieldrocket. Let's go ahead and run this. Okay, very cool. If you look here, it says successfully uploaded 10 documents. Okay, very cool. It might be that simple. Let's go ahead and come into here. Okay, let's start the server up. Okay, so it's python appfile.py. Awesome. Let's come over here, refresh this page. Okay, let's say, now if we were to search this, we can say, what is FieldRocket? What we learned in the last video is that by default, this only does a ranking list, so it actually doesn't respond with any type of answer. So what we can do is, to get around that, we can change this to ask and then query, and then we can say what is FieldRocket, and then this extra parameter is generate mode equals summarize. Awesome. You see it's responding with these result batch methods. So this is just, or these are message types. And here it is, summary right here. FieldRocket is a podcast series, not quite, focused on helping contractors and service business owners launch, grow, and manage their businesses. It offers expert guidance. Okay. Yeah, here we go. I mean, starting a marketing services like using photos to attract customers. Okay, so it does have some good information that actually pulled off the WordPress site right from the beginning. Got some weird things wrong, like this podcast series thing, but this is an early technology, an early project. I'm sure that their default implementation will work much, much better in the future. And really the thing that we're just trying to quickly prototype is a way to hook a WordPress instance into this existing project, have it basically analyze the entire contents of the site, and then just provide a little chatbot interface that somebody on the that's visiting your WordPress site could use very quickly. So based on that, we can see that this NLWeb project is going a good direction, and WordPress has the /feed mechanism already set up. Now, I think there's a way to increase that limitation. Right now, it only does 10 posts at a time, whereas if we bump that number up, I think we can actually have it consume much more content. So let's go ahead and try that. So we're going to go to my admin portal here. Then we're going to go over here to our settings and our reading. Okay. And then we have this syndication feed shows the most recent 10 items. Let's just be a little crazy. Let's change this to 999. Now, this might not be viable for existing websites, especially if they actually have people that are using the syndication feed. It can just put a big load on the server. But for the case of this, kind of exploration, this might be a quick way to just kind of test. Okay, so let's go ahead and come back into our NLWeb and let's dump the database again. Okay, let's go ahead and rerun it, and this should hopefully give us more than 10. Okay, so this gave us 38, so this is a small website. Based on that, let's go ahead and run the server again. Let's go over here, let's refresh this. Let's see if it answers any differently now. Result batch summary. Oh, here we go. So it actually is more grounded now. Something about that, it's no longer mentioning the podcast thing. FieldRocket is a free field service management software designed to help home service contractors manage and grow their businesses. Okay, very cool. So just that step alone made it much more accurate. Now, even if we didn't have a plugin that would allow somebody to use a chat interface directly on our WordPress site, this right here alone would be valuable. If we had an NLWeb server that had just pulled all this information down, this would be valuable, especially if you registered this in a MCP server list where it can basically do the ask function. Because what that means is that you can actually get picked up with agentic search because you have your website with an MCP protocol that's broadcasting it out into this kind of new web of agents that's happening. One thing that is funny is that these, if you do search for the word podcast in here, there's all of these references to podcast episodes. I have no idea what this is all about. I wonder too if there's some sort of setting in here by default. Like, let's look this up. Podcast. DB load utils, include types. Oh, so maybe these are different types of episodes. Yeah, so there's this kind of default list of types, I guess. Maybe ours should have been something different, like a local business. There's also this skip types. So there's a little bit of, I don't know if it, yeah, I don't know exactly how that happened. Podcast episode renderer. Okay. Well, either way, that's a quick way that we can just like already have it pulling information in from our WordPress site. So honestly, the only thing we would need after that is two things. One, we would need to change it so that the RSS feed does more than 10 by default, and we probably don't want to change it so that this, we probably don't want to change it so that we have to change the syndication feed, and that just could be if you already have something that's relying on that syndication feed. 999 is quite a lot, and so you might not want to dump all of that into every single syndication feed request. So another alternative we can do is if we make a very quick plugin that wraps all of this up, we could actually expose our own endpoint that we feed into the NLWeb server, and then that way the NLWeb server will actually just hit that. It can dump out, you know, the entire content of the site, maybe through a similar mechanism as this /feed, but it does it in a way that like not every single syndication feed will pull from that. So let's go ahead and just jump right into making a new WordPress plugin, and we can kind of test and see how that plays out.